Last night charting, we were expecting this to push up. Obviously, it did push up, and it is coming back down. And I'm looking for a bounce around this area, 43.77 bounce area, and pretty much it will bounce there. And should it break there? Rather, should it not bounce there? Then I think this 43.71 is still intact. But I'm looking for a bounce right here. Ephemeral, doesn't matter, but it has to bounce here. It would push up into 43.81 perhaps, and then right about here. It should bounce right about here, 43.77, whatever this number is. Should bounce back into the 200, and if it can cross there, and we can look for a push up. But if it fails there, I think it will come back down here, 43.71. Let's reassess the situation there. Okay, Baba. All right. And this is a 1 hour chart. And last night when we were charting, we were looking for, obviously, because the conditions were there, we were looking for a push up. And this is simply how it works. Uh, Usually it goes from oversold conditions into the mean, and that's what is happening here. And one thing that is notable is that the mean has come down uh, dramatically. It did come down dramatically. So that's one thing that is noticeable here. The oversold conditions are getting resolved. So let's keep an eye on this. I'll keep monitoring all this stuff. Here's the thing. This is bouncing off of a very good level here, and it's been making this base here, right about here. And so it is bouncing off of a very good level. So this bounce is still valid, and if it push into 44, it could push into 4400 pretty easily, 30 points to the upside. Uh, Not sure, George, not sure. So we are not in a directional market. So usually, we are not looking for a direction. So, but usually what happens is that when you have this mean hit and the upper Bollinger Band hit, take a breather, and if the conditions are right, like they were here, we could look for a continued push into most likely this number 44.23. But as of now, that should be the good to have. But I think the base case to the upside is here. Where is that? 4400, right about here. That's the base case to the upside. So 20 points from here, 4400 to 4405, whatever this number is, whenever this number will get hit. 4407 seems like the case, but let's keep an eye on that. Most likely that should be it. But if the rally continues, we will be looking for a push into 4421 and 4433. That's how I'm going to play short term. And days range, I'm expecting it to be 44. This is my base case, about 4400 to 4403, whatever this number, 50 moving average. Then if it pushes up from there, then you know how it progresses. And mean is a pretty distant dream as of where we are sitting, 4484. Not really plotting mean today. So good to have, well, maybe 44, 40, somewhere around this range. If it crosses that 4440 number, then we will reassess the 4440 to 4445 range. If this crosses that range, then we will reassess the situation. And to the downside, this number remains intact, 4361 or whatever this number is, 4358. This number remains intact. Let's quickly jump on to, okay, what is that? Where is that? VIX. So this number or this chart on the 1 hour is pointing down and pointing towards the breather that we were looking for yesterday. So it is bouncing right here. It came back down, basically. That's what I'm trying to point out. It came back down, and most likely case is that it has to come back down. It should continue back into its mean. That's the most likely case that I'm seeing right now. So 23, 23 right now, and if it breaks below here, it should be an ephemeral bounce as we speak. And if it breaks below here, 22.20, the 1 point would be a absolute ripper or a SPY. And the 200 is sitting around 21.82, and the mean is sitting at 21.69. So better than or close to 2 points. Right, so close to 2 points on VEX would mean an absolute rally on Wall Street on the SPX. So let's see how that plays out. I will keep a eye on this one, and I am currently Microsoft long, and I got into Apple as well alongside, and that is more like a hedge to my Facebook short. So I want to see how that plays out. Where is that? Tesla. What are we looking for? VIX. Right. So this is the number. Uh, this is where it should break below this number. If it doesn't break, then we might experience some more turbulence. But per technicals, it has to break below. That's what I'm seeing here. The SMI is pointing down, and it looks like it will come back down. But if it doesn't, we will change our plan and move into a different direction. Yeah, I think for now it has to come back down into this number at least. But let's see how this goes, right? We'll take it hour by hour. And on the daily side of things, VIX is still looking downward. So on the daily, VIX is still looking downward. Where is that VIX? Oh no, this is a VIX chart. All right. On the daily, VIX looking upward. Huh. How did I miss this last night? But I think last night we did not put up VIX. Anyways, so I'll keep monitoring the situation for VIX. The MACD is still intact. The MACD crossover is still intact, and stochastic is still pointing up. So if the VIX starts to push up, this is the number I want to be seeing. 23.98, then into 24.25. And my expectation is for VIX to take a breather somewhere around here if it pushes. But then, if not, then we are looking for this number here, 27. So what happens when if it is hitting 27? That is the case we're going to discuss right now. Come on, VIX. And by the way, the thing is with oil, it is coming down. It was 104 or something. It was hitting 105 yesterday. It has come down considerably. 10-year is still stalling around 2.9. I am expecting this thing to push up. I'm expecting this to continually push up. Bitcoin has come back below the number that we were looking for. It is not doing much. That is suggesting that it is a risk of sort of a deal here. And this spike, after that spike, it came down considerably here. Most likely scenario for it to go down to this number here, 39.8 something, and bounce off of that. I'm still watching MACD here. The crossover hasn't happened. Still watching for that crossover to happen. And if Bitcoin starts to push up, that means the rally will be back on the street. So I'll keep an eye on all of this stuff. Give me Where is that? Here. Let's change the windows and all right. So this is what I'm watching for SPX. Where is that? Right here. So yesterday, I think we were discussing this number 435, and most likely that is the case that we're gonna test out today. 435, and to the downside on SPX, 4360 is my base case. Just like we were talking about it yesterday, 4360. So this is the EMA sitting around the daily. So my expectation to the downside is to hit that EMA and bounce off of that EMA. And as we speak, the futures are bouncing right back into that 200 SMA and 50 SMA on the 5. And yeah, so this is my base case to the downside, 4360. That is a 50 SMA, 50 EMA sitting on the weekly. That's my base case to the downside. Well, what happens if we break there? Let's see. If we break there, then this is most likely the scenario. 4360, we break there, then we'll push into 4341. Let's say 4340, then we'll push into 4326. That is how it is going to progress. What does that mean for SPY? I think 432 is pretty much if it doesn't bounce around 43 435 or something, then we are looking for a push into 432.80. That's what we are looking for. On the IXIC side of things, this is still a very valid case of 327.86. This is still a very valid case. So 5 points below from here, yeah, possible. Now, the thing that we need to appreciate here is that SPY and the indices will be getting oversold on the lower time frames. So, and VIX getting overbought on the lower time frames. What does that mean? That means we might expect a slight pull up in the markets, right? So let's see, the indices are getting oversold here on the 15, and today if it opens below here, indices will be clearly oversold. So expect a pull up, right? Especially the 1 hour chart, it is clearly indicating that things are getting oversold. So whenever, so there's a good bit of chance that it needs to go back into its 5, then go back into its 8. Everybody knows this stuff by now. And the mean is sitting about 442. So not ruling out that number right now as of where things are. What does that mean for 44.54? Not so good to have is 44.54 right now, but my base case to the upside is 44. Wait a second. What am I missing here? Wait a second. Are these the right charts? Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. I was okay. That case was for futures, right? Okay, for SPX, the downside is the first line in the sand, 4360. We know that, and to the upside, my base case would be right here. Where's the first? Where's the one right here? So this is my base case to the upside, 4420. Uh, yeah, so 4420 to the upside, and if we clear that, looking for 4431, and if we clear that, looking for a push into 4454 to 4457, give or take 4460. So a good about 60 to 70 points from where we closed last session, and to the downside, good 35 points to the downside should be the first bottom, and a push below there. We are looking for another good 60 points. Then probably good. Well, how much this or how much it would come down to? 43.27. So looking for a good 70 points to the downside. If and that should be some sort of a bottom here. But my base case is not for a push down about 70 80 points. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for perhaps 30 points to the downside, 43.60 somewhere on that, and that should bounce. And if 10 years starts to push up, really violently, then you could see Nasdaq coming down pretty much into or the Qs coming down into 329. And let's see where we can look for Nasdaq to push. About 12,800, 12,850. That's what it would come down to, 12,850. So what is that? The 150, about 250, 300 points. If Nasdaq comes, starts to come down, I think we're looking for about 300 points to the downside. So essentially, what does that mean? Looking for that lows from the last month. That's pretty much it. I think we should bounce somewhere around that 319. Currently, I'm not pricing that in for Qs 319. I'm currently not pricing that in. I'm currently not pricing in that 1250 lows. 12.8, if it comes down, 12.8 is what we're looking for. Uh, right. And let's get back into
Garth, what's IXIC to the upside?
into we discussed VIX, and here's the one that I want to be talking about, Apple. Watching Apple clearly, I am invested in both of these to the upside just to capture, if it bounces, I'll capture that. If not, I'll simply exit that trade. Yesterday, I was short Apple all the way to the bottom. Today, I am a long Apple as of where things stand. Currently, not looking good, but we'll see as the day progresses how it happens. And the reason I got long is 1 hour is getting kind of oversold here, and it is hitting this super trend, and that's the reason I got it. Uh, so to the upside, if it clears here, right now it is struggling to clear here. If it clears there, then we'll look for a push into the mean, sitting about 167.76. If it clears there, then we'll reassess the situation. So the base case is 166.71 or something like that. If it clears there, we'll look for a push into this one. So 166.86. If it clears here, then it should hit here. No doubts there. So the 50 should act as some sort of a solid resistance. But if we clear there, we're looking for a bit of upside. So that's my thesis to play into this. I'm looking for actually 167.73, but if not, I will take 167.21 as well. So that's how I want to play this. 1 hour and the daily. So the daily is the average is still pointing upward, even though yesterday was a red day on regular candles. Yesterday was a green day per Heikin Ashi. So the average is still there. It is still pointing upward. If we can get it to about here, even if we can get it to at least here, that would still be awesome. 167.60. Yeah, well, let's see how it plays out. And to the downside, you can look for if it can push up beyond 167.7, 167.20, it will get interesting. But for the downside, I'm not really plotting a whole lot based on this indicators. But I'll take it. This 154 is still intact. I'm not really plotting for that. I'm not really plotting for that. If it can come down into 163.50, that is still a good number. But I would not be holding it for that, to the upside for that period of time. 165, maybe if it can bounce here, 165.30, maybe. If not, I'll simply go short on Apple. Uh, and I will continue to hold Apple short, and I'll continue to hold SPX short if Apple starts to push down. And I am also long Microsoft. Expectation from Microsoft is similar to Apple. Uh, and again, here is where people are buying puts for. This is what is, I think, the street is eyeing 258 to 260 number. For now, but for now, I think I'm looking for an ephemeral bounce. The average is still pointing down. So let's see if we can get into 285. That is still 284.90. That would still be awesome. I'm at this point I am expecting it to push up. Why am I expecting that? The same thing. The same thing right about here. And Microsoft and Apple, I'm expecting these to bounce and take the markets alongside them for a bounce. So looking for about to break this number, 282, whatever this is, and push into this number. So that's my reasoning for that. And the 1 hour looks pretty oversold to me. Even yesterday, it did look pretty oversold to me. Uh, and this is the stock that I'm holding from yesterday. So, and this is the reason I'm holding it from yesterday. I got oversold, and that's why I am getting long. I got long. So SMI needs to push. SMI needs to push, and barring any other events like 10-year spike or whatnot, I'm still expecting it to push into this number. And if it clears that 282 barrier, looking for a push into 283.60. And I'll reassess the situation somewhere around here. But for whatever reason, if it slips below 280, I'll exit that trade. Don't want to hold on for hope. Right? So direction for the markets is not very clear today. SPX and I'll play hour by hour. To be honest, I'll just play hour by hour. And today being the options weekly expiration for options, I think I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to make a prediction, but looks like towards the end of the day we'll have a meltdown. Maybe we'll push up during the opening session, but towards the end of the day, I think we'll have a meltdown. And this is the other thing that I am heavily involved in, Facebook. So I think last night I explained my position on Facebook, but everything looks oversold here. So I am heavily short on Facebook. And if Facebook starts to push above 195 and into 200s, I'll be in deep trouble, deep trouble. So yeah, I want to if you find me putting myself on mute and and looking for I don't know to navigate this situation or mitigate this situation. So if you see me on mute for a prolonged period of time, so that's what I'm doing. All right, so that is pretty much it from my end. If anybody has any particular stock that they're looking into, let me know. Guessing out FBI now. Snow. Did it not die? Jesus, yeah. Cat Nvidia UPST. UPST is a no touch. It's maybe you can trade it, maybe like a 5 minute candle, but besides that, no touch. Yeah, snow has to die. Snow has to die. It is hitting those levels, and it's wow, it is exactly there. So let's see, if we can find a bounce because it is at a level that it bounced before. Look for that. A failed bounce, go short, go nuts with it. And anything just like snow will melt down. No pun intended. Tesla, Rob, stay away from that. Tesla, we'll look at hour by hour. Okay, and snow. Yeah, look for a breather here. Why? Because it seems like oversold. Yeah, it seems like oversold, just like everything else. If the Nasdaq starts to push up, and this thing will come back into 179, pretty much sitting there. Pretty much sitting there, right here. Yeah. So this is how I want to see this thing progress. 176.34, then push into 177. And probably take a breather there and then start to push into 180. Yeah, so this should happen. 179, I'm expecting this to happen on snow. Beyond that, probably I don't know, but this is, I think, the base case to the upside is right here. If it clears 176, the base case should be 176.34. If it clears there, we can look for a push into 177 or 178. To the downside, I don't know how much further downside does it have. So I'm not, don't think there's a whole lot of downside as of where things stand. At least not before an ephemeral bounce, at least. So look for that. Which is the other one? Cat. So what's with cat? Cat. Cat's been roaring. Weekly detached. Well, for this one now it doesn't really matter. Cat. Okay, so yeah, this is where it is. Yeah, it makes sense. This makes sense. Come back down here, bounce off of this number, but if the market starts to push down, you look for a push into 228.14. And if it doesn't bounce there, you could clearly have a shot at the mean. Not really basing. I don't think it's going to go back into the mean as of where things stand. But if it breaks below its 5, you could easily push into its 8, 228.24 for cat. That's how I want to play this. Nvidia. Well, Nvidia is. You should not be looking at Nvidia as, and we have been looking for this number since probably around here, that it will come back into this line. We've been waiting for this. And most likely it will break here and start to push into this number, 179. But look for a bounce here. If the market bounces, look for a clear bounce here. It has bounced off of that number before, it will bounce again. If it doesn't bounce, or even if it does bounce there, it is heading towards this number, 180, 179.63, 180. This is where it is heading. I don't doubt that. What? Take it an hour by hour.
2 minutes, 1 minute.
9:28. Almost time, guys. PayPal is oversold on the 118.
No one hear me?
And you want to put up, Don, you want to put up that SOX, SMH, then NVIDIA, and probably then another peer, then trade it that way. Don't trade it just on itself.
I gotcha. Thanks.
Awesome. Yes, sir. UPSD, the same thing, Brad. Look for it on a 5-minute candle. Don't go below 5 minute. Trade it by 5 minute. All right, guys. So let's. I'll see you in Sanity. Good luck.